NerdandSon.
Welcome to the Nerd and Son podcast. I am Nerd Ralph, and I am here with Son.
Connor, hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
How is sunny, warm Honolulu doing for you?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah, hallelujah. Wow, I talk well.
Well, she tied me to a chair and she beat me up. She cut my hair. Hallelujah.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So we're back again here for another episode, which is great. I'm having a enjoyable time doing this. This is awesome. So,
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, I guess we want to recap what we did last time. At the end of the last episode, we actually kind of threw out a challenge of designing a couple scenarios based on creatures out of the Dungeons & Dragons monster manual. Kind of went a little bit basic on there just to give an idea, and I have no idea what you've created. The only thing that we did was come up with the monsters for each other, and I kind of went simple, and I gave you a goblin, a dire tiger, and a satyr. And you turned around.
I turned around and, so you didn't tell me exactly what we were doing and what the thing was. So
that was the whole point, to be random.
Pick three D&D monsters and don't tell me what they are and tell me at the beginning of the episode. And so I was like, oh, awesome. D&D monsters, I didn't think about encounters or anything. I just thought, oh, well, what do I think of when I come up when D&D monsters? So it was. You want to go ahead and say what I said?
Do you remember what you told me?
Yeah, it's still up there. It hasn't moved.
I thought you were asking me because you're like, I forgot what it was.
No. I picked the classics. Red Dragon, Beholder, and the Mimic.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and I had fun with them. And actually, before we actually got off the line on last episode, I already had 2 of the 3 ideas in my head. So, and then I just expanded on them. So, I
knew what I was gonna do for a gobbo for the gobbos.
Yeah.
I did not know what I was gonna do for the dire tigers or the satyrs.
Okay.
And let me tell you, spoiler alert, I could barely think of anything for a satyr.
Okay. Are you satyring that for later?
Yeah.
Okay, I had to get my dad joke out early there. Okay. Okay. So, do you want to actually go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Let's go ahead and... I don't have my dice with me, so I can't roll to see.
I have a specific order that I'm doing mine in, so...
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'll just go down the list of what I had. So, I started with the dire tiger, all right? Okay. I thought that would be fun. That would be cool. I had never heard of a dire tiger, and so I was like, oh, well, what is this? So I looked it up, and I got it from the I got most of my stuff just from the 5ESRD website.
Yeah.
So that's how I got all this stuff. And the dire tiger, this one, the stat line I'm using is from the City of Brass book by Frog God Games.
Okay.
And this is and it was authored by Casey Christopherson and Scott Green.
Okay.
I wanted to get the things out of the way. The other 2 are just from the other 3 spoilers. Stat lines I use are from the are from the monster manual. So it's
okay.
So this is the only one that I took that was from something else. So right, this thing, a big cat. When you said dire tiger, I was like, oh, okay, this will be like a CR like 4 or 5, no problem. This is a CR 8.
Okay.
So You're learning the 5th edition. Are you familiar with the CR?
I am not as familiar with the CR in the 5th edition. I'm doing a lot of reading and a lot of updating.
Yep.
But
So,
if I can, it's not as far off from what I was imagining them before. And yes, knowing that the Dire and going from 3rd edition, 4th edition, and having a Dire template that you can actually throw on any creature if you really wanted to, it actually increases the hit dice, the CR, and everything else like that. So yeah, very, very familiar.
So yeah, this is a pretty difficult encounter, to which I have decided that instead of the premise of this is that this is a predator creature who will be stalking the players, right?
Okay.
So let's go through the stat line real quick, or the stats. You've got an AC of 18. You have 135 hit points and a speed of 40. Okay. It's strength 20, dex 16, con 15, 3 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and 8 charisma. All right. The skills are plus 4 perception and plus 9 in stealth, and its passive perception is 14.
Okay.
All right. So that's what we're working with. Pretty hefty stat line. Right? Thing is going to hit. It's going to hit hard, and it's going to hide. Right? That's just the basics. It's an ambush predator. Okay. So you are walking through the jungles, and this thing is going to pounce at you. It has the special traits involve an improved critical. So the critical hit is at a 19 or a 20. And we'll get into its attacks. This thing is going to hit hard. Okay. It's got keen smell, has advantage on wisdom's perception checks that rely on smell. That's not really going to come up in our thing, but it's still there. Here's where the thing that I thought was interesting. Okay. Pounce. If the tiger moves at least 20 feet straight forward at creature, and then hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, that target must succeed a DC 16 strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Okay.
If the target is prone, the tiger can make 1 bite attack against it as a bonus action. Okay? And we'll get into these attacks, right? It has a bite and a claw attack. But, right, so this thing is going to pounce on you. It's going to knock you over prone, so that it's going to have, advantage on its attacks. And then it's going to just maul you to death. Right?
Right.
So my thing is that this creature is this is going to take out whatever party member is by themselves, right?
Oh yeah.
Either the wizard in the back or the ranger or rogue that's scouting ahead. Right? So this is going to pick off the weakest member, and it's going to kill them. Or at least try.
It is going to try. I mean, that's what it's
try.
what it's supposed to do.
All right. So it's got 2 attacks, right? It does have multi-attacks, so it's going to make 1 bite and 1 claw attack, right? So bite, melee weapon, attack, plus 8 to hit. So hits up plus 8 to hit. It does 3d10 plus 5 piercing damage.
Nice.
Then you have the claw. So that's a plus 8 to hit. And that's a 3d6 plus 5 slashing damage.
Okay. Now on the pounce, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go through in my head a bunch of other stats. Are you looking at a single claw, or on a pounce, are you looking at all 4?
No. So the claw attack, that's its attack, right? So you're
as
only
a single
going
claw.
to...
Instead of like a pounce in a land, and then you can like
you're
a rip
not,
and a rend.
That is just a claw attack.
Okay.
You are not going like, oh, it's got 2 claw attacks because it's got 2 claws. No, it's just the claw attack.
Okay.
So you can narrate that as it tries to get you with both, and that's still going to be 1 attack.
Okay. Right? That's what I was asking.
Now here's the little thing, right? If it takes 40 damage on 1 turn, I'm going to have it run away.
Yeah.
And then if the players continue to if they don't group up, if they don't like take the most defensive, if they don't start being defensive, it's going to come back and try to either get the same person or another person that's out separate.
Right.
If not, it's going to try to stalk them. If the players don't pay attention afterwards, then it'll attack again.
Okay.
So this is playing into that ambush predator. This thing has a +9 stealth. The only thing, right, is that this doesn't have disengage, and I debated on giving it disengage, but I figured that would be a little too much.
It depends on the situation and the party if you wanted to.
Yeah, but just generically, without adding anything, I'm good with it just being able to have opportunity attacks taken against it.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So yeah, that is what we have, and this is specifically to mess with the expectations that are usually set. That's what I did, and you'll see that when I get to the goblins. But I wanted to make things interesting and do a little bit of, asymmetrical.
Yeah.
It is not just this creature's going to sit here and take your hits and then hit you. It's going to try to get away. It's going to try to act like an animal.
Yeah, because that's part of the conversation that you have, and we've had actually previous, because a battle is just not static. Unless you have creatures that the players know that's just going to be cannon fodder, you have to have a dynamic actual battle, and these creatures are going to be smarter than, hey, I'm just going to stand here and roll dice.
Yep.
So you have to treat them that way and just make everything a lot more dynamic and everything.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So cool. Okay. Now, the way I think of mine, and I actually thought of this as we were playing, and the Red Dragon. Because honestly, this one was I had an idea in my head, but then I had to actually expand on it, and this one was probably the most difficult out of all of them for me. Okay.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Because I want interesting encounters. I don't want standard. Okay?
Yeah.
So, as an idea and everything like that, okay, Red Dragon, okay, and we're just going to do here so there's no hand up or anything like that to it, and this can be used in the campaign as a reveal later on or anything like that. But basically, you have a Red Dragon, okay, that also goes by the Red Lady, Red Death, Scourge of the East, or most commonly known as Cinder. Okay? And her actual draconic name is Clarissa Lorathon. Okay? As for the dragon's name, okay? She is a great red worm, okay? And for a great red worm, they have to be over 1,200 years old. And she's actually at 1462 is her age. Okay.
Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, that is the... Okay, that's great. Okay. Now, here we go. This dragon actually takes the form of a red-tinged tiefling. Okay? Now, chromatic dragons cannot actually shape change like metallics do. Okay, so she actually uses a artifact, which is actually a gold coin, which gives her the ability of shape shifting. Now, I did not actually put that gold coin into stats, and it could actually be a artifact. Okay, so that can actually be changed and kind of worked up, but we're just trying to do the thing like that. Okay, now, when you encounter this dragon, okay, she goes by Cinder. Okay, as the tiefling, okay? But you will find her in a dwarven city that is rather large, that is trading, and she goes about as a trader, accumulating wealth and everything else, okay? Now, her backstory that you have for the dragon here is she is in the dwarven city trading, accumulating wealth, but hiring dwarves, okay, to actually build her basically lair for her out of the middle of this volcanic mountain. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's having the dwarves actually do that. And
absolutely. And it's a very interesting thing. That, you know, it makes sense that the dwarves living under the mountain would not like in The Hobbit, where it's an antagonistic thing. I feel like that would be a symbiotic relationship.
It would, but to keep everything done, they don't know that she's actually a dragon. Okay, she's having it built, she's paying, she's financing, and everything like that too. Okay, but the way she's doing it with the dwarves, and I thought it'd be great for a campaign, is they actually converted her for her being powerful and everything like that, not knowing she's a greater worm, and they actually worship her. Okay, and she actually created a cult where everybody follows basically a false god, which ends up being her. Okay,
so they know that there's a dragon, but they don't know that.
No, they don't know it's a dragon. They just think if this is a tomb, a crypt lair, to actually go and to not exonerate, but to actually praise for the actual god that they actually worship. Okay. So that's
a nice twist.
It's a very nice twist on that. Okay. Now, I figured during this and everything going on is the players could learn about this or about the cult during their adventures. Okay, and that would get them in kind of the rounds going here. Okay. One of the things you can hear is the adventurers could be hired to gather relics or riches to add to her collection. Okay, and that's how they learn the truth. Okay, they could be sent to recover an item gathered by the worshippers. Okay, so they would learn back trying to get the item back, or some of the worshippers or things like that come to the players, because players, when they get higher level, have nice relics, and you kind of show stuff off in battle and everything like that. Word of that gets around, so the cultists come and try to get those items for you to add to her collection. Okay, absolutely.
I really like the A to B to C of, you know, like, you know, the setup of they get the adventurers get hired because somebody's artifact was stolen. They figure out who stole that artifact. They find out that it was fenced to this cult. They go to the cult to get this artifact, like, and just like figure out, and it gets just increasingly more.
It could,
like, crazy.
And then honestly, if you got your players in a draconic campaign, okay, they could actually be hired by a NPC, which is actually a metallic dragon in disguise. Okay, to actually go and say, "Hey, there's something weird going on. Can you go and investigate this?" And that kind of leads everything into that campaign. You mean the draconic campaign?
A lizard that is investigating, an investigator.
And I just want everybody to know that that was not my joke, and you're not even a dad yet. So good job practicing right there.
Yeah,
Gator. That's awesome. Okay.
I'm ready for it.
Okay.
You know?
Now, here is the other twist, depending on where you want to get stuck in the campaign. But her ultimate plan is more like Genghis Khan. Okay.
Okay. To have sex with everyone.
Yes, that's why 1 out of every 200 people have some form of DNA from Genghis Khan. Look that up.
That was disproven. Well, that was disproven, but it's still like that was like an urban legend because of all that.
Oh, I was looking up the research and everything like that, and it said not in the world. That's where the legend comes up, but in Europe, okay, in China, Middle East and China, stuff like that. Yes, it's 1 in 200. But not in the world. It is great. So, okay. But here's the thing. Besides the dwarves actually working for her, the cultists and everything like that, who gather everything, gather all the riches into one location. The dwarves don't know that building the place actually has the riches there. All the riches are being gathered and stored in another location. She has a third party, okay, that takes them from the one location and then takes them to the lair that the dwarves are building. Okay, so once she gets all the wealth and everything, and she's done, and all the cultists and everything are there, then the other group that she has moved to her actual final lair kills off all those cultists and everything, so they don't know where this stuff's going or where it's done. So that kind of gets rid of rumors. Okay. And I have in here one of the things she's going to do when everything is completed in the crypt, everything like that, where she's staying at in the mountain. She was planning a huge ritual to either rise the god, her fake false god, or anything like that. Okay, gather all the worshippers and everything down there. But basically, at that particular time, kill everybody off. So there is no more witnesses, nothing like that. And then basically the way the dwarven mountain and everything was combined, it would actually, from like a trapped perspective, close down all the entrances, gaps, and everything like that. And she has her lair where she can stay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the adventurers can actually be in there at any point, any time, disturb the ritual, go through the whole thing, because this is actually something that can be a whole campaign, not really just an interesting encounter. I mean, so it can be played a whole bunch of different ways.
Absolutely. It also, I just had the thought where it makes sense that a dragon would... Basically, it makes sense the dragon would create a faith.
Yeah.
To collect tithes. Like, it makes sense. It's the dragon equivalent of passive income.
Yeah, so that was kind of where I was going with that, because I didn't want just a standard red dragon attack.
Yeah.
And then this way you can actually interact, you can find different things, and there's so much that can be expanded on this as an idea. So
absolutely.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
So cool. Yay. Thumbs up.
Yay.
All right.
Yay.
So your turn.
Okay. Next I'm going for the Gobos. All right.
Gobos.
The Gobos. So, this is not a how you normally have goblins as your standard first. This is intended to be something to remind some players.
This is how we remind you. Okay. Never mind. I won't sing. You're not trying to get me to sing.
You just did.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I will no more.
But this is to remind the players that goblins are not something to be fucked with.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight up, because this is not a goblin encounter. This is a trap encounter. Okay. Right? I've devised a couple of traps, a couple of things, because what you have is you have one goblin boss, right? And the stats don't really matter. Just know that AC 17, 21 hit points, and then that's the goblin boss. Then you have the regular goblins of AC of 15 and hit points of 7.
Okay.
Not a very challenging. If you grab one of these, they're dead. You know?
But not challenging individually, but
the point
group
is
of them.
that you don't get hit. You don't get that. So you don't get in combat with them. They do not want to get in combat with you, right? So what's going to happen is they have. Let's get back to it. So this setup is the adventurers are hired to go after these goblins, right? They're going to find a goblin. They're going to find the victims of one on the road of this goblin little camp. Okay. So
a goblin victim or a victim of the goblins?
A victim of the goblins.
Okay.
Right. They're a little caravan that was attacked. Then they're going to find the footprints out of that take them to the woods. Okay. So you've got so they start following, and that's where they run into trouble, right? Those goblin footprints are going to lead directly into that camp. But that camp is going to be guarded.
Okay.
It's going to have defenses. Okay. So on the way, this is set up. This is a setup for people who are going to follow them. So you've got spike traps. I got this straight from, I believe it's the I looked it up online, and I know I've read this before. So this is straight from the Wizards of the Coast, like when they talk about traps. It's either the DMG or the Xanathar's Guide to Everything. One of those two. It has but the spike trap. It's a DC 15 to spot, and the creature falling into the pit takes 2d10 piercing damage from the spikes, in addition to falling damage.
Okay.
Right. So that's 2d6 on top of 2d10. Pretty much, like if you got a 20-foot pit. Okay. So while this is not on its own, the next one I came up with on my own, because I treated this like the Ewoks. And what's their biggest thing? It's the logs. So you're gonna have the logs come in and try to get the party, right? And I didn't really know where to put that, so I put that as like 2d10 bludgeoning damage. Okay? Yeah. And that's on the way. This is on the path they are following. Then I thought of an encounter where a next little step to this, where you had this very long hill that they had to go up, and the hill was very muddy and very difficult terrain trying to get up, and the goblins would throw rocks and stuff down. Okay. And then I realized that's not very fun. Right? Okay. So I was like, well, there's, it's going to be a long... If it were in a video game and you had to, like, figure out how to do it, that would be fine. But this isn't because you would be trying to... that's fine. But I think that in a tabletop setting, on it's not as fun to try to do that, Okay. So that's where I came from that. So I scrapped that. I just wanted to say that just so for the, for the process, right? Instead of seeing the end goal, you just see you see the whole process. Right. Although I did the next one, which was the main. This is the main event, right? This is where things happen, right? Have you ever been hiking in like the foothills, and you have like these rocky areas and stuff, where like the rocks get pretty crazy? Yeah. That's where this is kind of set. That's my envisionment. And so this comes into a 10-foot little like tiny canyon kind of deal. Mm-hmm. Where they have to get through, because that's where the path leads, that's where the goblins have gone. This is a trap. This is where this goes down. I thought this is 20 foot high. There is it is wet and mossy on the sides of the rocks, so it's very difficult to climb up. Okay. That's gonna happen. I don't know a single player group that I've ever had where at least one player would not try to climb up these rocks.
Because if you got trap after trap to the trap, you're gonna have players who are gonna try to subvert it and always think that the next thing's gonna be a trap.
And they're right. I thought of having basically an oil at the bottom and setting that on, and the goblins would set that on fire. I thought that was a little too mean. So, but if your party can handle it, go for it. Mm-hmm. But this is where I watched something, and I can't remember what it was, but it was something on YouTube that talked about because of Baldur's Gate 3. And basically, Baldur's Gate 3, if you are attacking from higher, you get a +2 on your hits, and a -2 if you're from below. Mm-hmm. Right? That's from Baldur's Gate 3. That is not written into the game. So that's something to add, and that adds different. That adds a different layer to everything. So you are here. The players are down here. Goblins are up here, and they're going to start shooting. they have a clear, distinct. I'm not trying to say advantage, because that's
exactly what. Well, yeah, you don't want to give them advantage, is what you're trying to say.
Exactly, but you want to give them that like +2 to be able to hit them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And what are your players going to do? They can try to get through there. They can try to, attack. Here's the deal, right? If there are 3 goblins that are killed in this, that's why the traps are important and not the thing. Goblins are slippery. Goblins are conniving.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are threatened, they will not continue. Right? So if 3 goblins are killed during this, they're going to try to run. And if they can't run, they're going to try to go for diplomacy and try to wiggle their way out of it somehow. So this comes very quickly into a social encounter where they can try to figure that out.
Yeah.
Or if they are killed, if the players are killed, they don't actually get killed. They become incapacitated, and then you get a little mini arc of escaping the Goblin camp.
Ah, okay.
Which is a fun little side mission.
Yeah.
So there's different branching paths that this can go.
Yeah. So, yeah, the only pushback I had to get on that, and I'm just going from my experience with the team that I was playing with, is if you put them in a forced scenario where they have to escape and they don't have their items, like they're captured, they balked every time at that. So, but if you could set that up, is something. Yeah, if you can set that up to where they don't feel like they don't have a choice, that where I don't know that it would logically happen, and they're accepting of that, then that would actually be great.
Yeah, and then this way you get out of the setup of what was I trying to say? Scratch that. You get out of the just like, you die and that's it.
Yeah.
But also, it's more fun. I would definitely end the session there because I don't have anything ready for a prison break, scenario.
That's not a problem. But as long as the goblins don't say, "Do you want to die by the sword or do you want to die by Zuzu?"
Pick Snoo every time.
Okay.
All right, before we move into the next one, I think it's break time.
I think so too. So we'll take an intermission and we will be right back.
Hi guys. If you want to take a break from role playing and watch someone burn their face off while eating hot peppers, head on over to YouTube at 13 Peppers and like and subscribe. And if you want to grow these peppers yourself, you can actually purchase these seeds at 13peppersbyralph.com. With that, have a good day.
Hi, we are back. Cool. Woo! Yeah, we got 3. We got 3 of them down. Woo! And we got 3 more to go. So we are back to my turn. So cool. Okay. The next one. Okay. This one was probably the most difficult for me. Okay.
You said that about the red dragon.
No, because I had from expanding on it, but most difficult for me to actually come up with a decent idea. Okay.
Yeah.
But once I actually had something clicked, everything went off from there. So it's just the initial idea trying to get this one because I wanted something different. And the next one we're going to talk about is the Mimic. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So with the Mimic, now typically when you're thinking of a Mimic or you see the pictures or anything else like that, you got a treasure chest, which is not actually a treasure chest. And then once the player character actually touches it, they are stuck to it, minus saving a save, and the thing comes out and tries to bludgeon them and eat them and all that kind of fun stuff. So, but here's the thing. Who says a Mimic has to be a treasure chest?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay, so now imagine, okay, going dungeoning. You got your player characters, you got your groups and everything like that, okay? You enter into a room, okay? And actually it could be in a dungeon, or honestly this room could actually be at the top of a tower someplace. Does not matter, but it's a rather large circular room, okay, that you have a door on the other side you have to get through, and it is closed, secured, and locked. In this room, when you walk into it, okay, you see a bunch of pillars that are around you on the edges, and say there's 10 items on these pillars.
I know where this is going.
Okay, and those 10 items and everything, and there is 10 pillars, and on top of each pillar is an item. Okay, now some of the pillars don't have to be pillars; they could actually be like statues, whatever you want to on there. Okay, but sitting in the middle of the room is a large chest. Okay, standard looking treasure chest and everything like that, sitting in the middle of the room. Okay, right off the bat, as a player character, you're gonna go, this thing's trapped. Okay, that's gonna be your instant first thing you do. Okay,
here's something I don't think we've gotten to as a player. If you, the DM, have set up a trap, I know it's a trap. We all know it's a trap. I will set it off every single time.
But here's where the trap and the solution is not actually known. Okay, with the treasure chest, you want to actually get into it. You're going to do your observations and everything else, come find out. Okay, so it is secured and it is magically locked, which is going to really pique interest. Okay, you're not going to have, it's not going to detect creature, life form, or anything like that, so you can test it. Okay, it's an actual treasure chest that has been magically locked. That's exactly what it is. What's in it could be anything, depending on what your campaign's running. Okay, now in my head, when I was thinking, I have all these pillars. Okay, say there's 10 different pillars, 10 different items, or whatever. You'd have a puzzle in the room. Okay, that you have to actually solve by moving the items around on the pillars to be in the correct location. Okay, and you can make it simple, and I was thinking in my head, just making it simple, like when you're solving the puzzles, when you have to turn the stone things around in the Skyrim. Okay,
yeah,
simple stuff like that. Okay, what's on the wall, make something match, everything like that. Simple puzzles. Okay, those are not bad, those are not difficult. Okay, but here's the thing. Out of those items, say there is 8 items in the room that have to be moved in the correct places. Okay, 2 of those items are mimics that are not items that have to get moved around. Okay, and why 2? Because once you see one, you're not going to think there's going to be a second one. Okay, you could get lucky and not hit any of the mimics. Okay, that could happen. But it depends on how you actually set that up. So what the players need to do is pick up the items and move them around and set them onto the correct spots. And as soon as they actually touch the item, there you go. The mimic's exposed. The mimics are going to try to eat you. Okay? And that's going to be the puzzle. And once they get their items moved, then that chest actually opens up. And when the chest actually opens up, you can get stuff that you want to in there, or it can actually be a switch to the door to get to the other side, whatever you want to on that. But from a character thing, it's a puzzle it's a trap within a puzzle that actually gets them to a solution to get through the other side. And yeah, you don't really think you're going to have 2 mimics, but also too, if the items that you're moving around are smaller, you're not going to have like a giant mimic, like a big, huge chest that's going to eat you with a bunch of hit dice, CR, and everything like that. It's going to be smaller ones that you can actually handle and deal with. And that's what kind of makes it interesting. It's not 1, but it's 2. Okay, so you've set up not a quick encounter. You got an interesting room. They're going to wonder what's in the chest. They're going to think it's a trap. The chest itself is not a trap. That's the fun part. But they have to figure out how to unlock the chest with either clues, ruins on the outside, anything else like that. However you want to set that up with your party and what kind of puzzles they like. Then they're going to want to do the puzzle. Go, okay, hey, I figured this out. I know what we're going to do. And as soon as somebody actually says that, everybody's excited and everybody wants to start moving stuff around. Okay? Because the party's like, we have the solution. Let's get this. Let's move past this. Or let's open this up and find out what's inside of it. And that actually lets their guard down. So when they get hit by the mimic, the first one, okay, that's going to throw them for a loop.
Yep.
Okay, and when they get done that, they're gonna go crap and stuff like that. They're gonna look at you funny, go what the hell, and everything like that. They're gonna try at that point finish the puzzle, and they're gonna get with the second mimic, however you want to do it. Plus, when I was doing it in my notes, if you see my notes here, I actually wrote a table. I was like, okay, maybe they could just be random what the plate pieces are. It could be a helmet. It could be a gauntlet. It's also said if the pillars are that you have to actually set the item onto, like a hands of like a statue, like holding out like this, maybe the statue is a mimic. If they do the wrong one, something like that. And I thought overall, as a puzzle, as an encounter, that would actually be really interesting and different than what you normally see. And I kind of like that with the setup and everything on there. So, and hopefully that would be a different mimic account. And honestly, I got my inspiration, and I'm sorry I don't have the podcast. I tried to actually go back and think about it, but I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago, and somebody mentioned a mimic as a helmet. Okay, I would love to give them credit, but I listened to 10 different Dungeon Dragons podcast right now, just because I'm trying to catch up on all my knowledge and everything else like that, and I do not remember which one, so I can't take all credit for that, but that was the inspiration to move on and to grow the whole chamber and the puzzle.
Hell yeah. That's pretty good.
So cool.
It's a trick within a trick within a trick. Really messes with you.
It's tricky to walk around, right? It's tricky. Okay. That was bad. And I even messed that up. Wow. Okay. Once again, I should not try to sing or do anything else like that at all. That was horrible. Okay.
Tricky!
My wife would hate me, and she would divorce me if she heard that. I'm glad she won't listen to this. Okay. So, that's it. So I think we are down to you.
All right. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Our final two. Here's the most difficult one, because satyrs don't really have much to them.
They got hooves.
That's not even in their stat line.
Well, it behooves them to actually have something, maybe more than what you actually know of.
So, anyway, that's so weird because like they should absolutely have like a kick or something. But no, they have a ram, a short sword, and a short bow.
Okay, so at least they can get away in that truck if they need to. That's great. Oh, that's not what you meant. I'm sorry. Wow. Okay.
Did you actually think a truck?
You said ram, so. See, everybody's trying to think that we are absolutely idiots, but this is great. Okay.
Well, that's the thing, we are. So, yeah, like,
we're not supposed to tell anybody. Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so they got AC 14, hit points 31. They have a ram +3 to hit on 2d4 +1 bludgeoning. They've got a short sword +5 to hit, 1d6 +3 piercing, and a short bow 1d6 +3. They are not hitting hard. They are not taking a lot of damage, right? And that's the thing. This is more of a test for the players, you know? Because they are going to be vibing, they're chilling, they are hedonists, they are having the best time of their lives. They're just hanging out outside of a more powerful phase, like domain.
Okay.
So this is more of a, oh, you're hanging out. What did I have? So I like to use Kobold Fight Club.
Okay.
Have you ever seen this?
I have not. What's that?
So basically it has it's koboldplus.club, okay? And you put in how many players, what level, and what creature they're coming up against. And it'll say whether it's just based on the numbers, whether that's a easy, medium, or hard encounter.
Okay, cool.
So it's a very useful tool if you're just looking at the numbers of everything. And so for 4 players of level 3 Satyrs is a medium encounter.
Okay.
It's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna be very difficult for them. And that's really the thing, is that this is gonna be a very basic, very easy encounter if they decide to fight.
Okay.
That's where the test is. If they fight and they kill these satyrs, you've pissed off the Fae, and now you are in a world of trouble, right?
Okay.
So this is that's really more where this is. They're hanging out. They're gonna, and so like that's really like where this is that this is not so much in an encounter itself, but more of a litmus test to see how the rest of the thing is going to go, the tone in which the Fae is going to treat them.
Okay.
Right.
So you can hold that together for their entire campaign as a grudge.
Exactly.
Or something positive, something like that, where they can get like Fae favors. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Favors.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I immediately thought of. There is something in the monster manual that gives them like this pan flute that allows them to enchant and do different effects, but I don't like anything that takes away agency from the players. There's like a charm, a sleep, and a frighten. One. And I don't like that because that basically just takes away the player's agency in turn, and then they're just going to be sitting there. So that's not really something I'm a fan of.
Okay. No, that's cool. That makes a different thing, especially if you got a campaign and it's trying to have to throw like that and stuff like that. Now, with this being mostly a challenge, is this going to be something that they know of initially, or is this just like an initial counter and they're going to know how?
Yeah, this is just like an initial, this would be start out as like a social encounter. They're hedonists. They're going to try to, do the peer pressure thing to try to get them to like join them or something, and it basically just sets the tone, sets the tone for how, because Faes are tricky. They are they are complex, but this is a very simple, just easy, see what's going to happen.
Okay. Do they have a way of atoning, or is that going to be something that they have to figure out in the campaign, or?
I would say that'd be something they'd have to figure out. But also, if you're going to just kill a bunch of satyrs just because,
just say that you did,
you're not really going to be.
we're doing not good at all, are we? Okay.
But they're not really going to be looking to atone or anything.
Okay.
If they're a group that's just going to do that, they're not. So this is more of just to see where things are going to go after this.
Okay. That'll do, especially if you got a Fae heavy campaign and how they do that and set up, and hopefully they make the right decisions up front. So
hopefully,
because I mean, it's interesting. I've never had a group that just wants to go out and just be violent and destructive and just rule over everybody. So most of my groups want to be helpful. Oh, you have? I've not. Yeah. I've had players that have tendencies every once in a while that want to actually do that, but for the most part, they actually want to do more of the right thing.
Yeah, no, I've had some pretty crazy new players.
Yeah. All right. So okay, well, that's cool. I mean, that really sets a whole tone and everything if you're gonna have a campaign that starts off that. So cool.
Yep, and their challenge rating is 1/2, so it's not like they're going to be. They're not.
This is something early on based on what they want to actually their tone that they want to play.
There's no tricks here, so it's not like goblins where they can they have tactics and everything.
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So
there we go. All right,
cool. Are we down to the last
bye.
one? Okay,
all right,
bye.
Yep, that's good.
Oh, funny. That's great. Okay. Okay. Ready for the last one?
Let's do it.
Okay. Cool. All right. So the last one, the creature that you gave me was a beholder.
Behold!
So, okay. So,
beholder, I barely even knew her. Oh!
All right, Waldorf. All right. You want to be more Statler or do you want to be more Waldorf?
I think I'll be Waldorf.
Okay. Statler's just a cool name, so I'll take Statler.
It is. Yeah, okay. There you go.
Okay, so let's say that your party and everything is traveling along. This would be more of a mid-level. Maybe it could be anywhere from 5 to level 9, something like that for your party level. Maybe 4. It depends on how you actually want to do with your party level and stuff like that. Okay, but you have questions of something that you need to solve, or your party actually needs to solve. Okay, so they've actually heard rumors. Okay, of the what did I even call them? Oh my gosh. Did I not do that here?
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Oh Jesus.
Okay.
Oh jeez.
Basically, you hear rumors about the sages of the mountain.
Ooh.
Okay. And so through rumors and everything, you've decided that, hey, you need to seek the sages and the wisdoms from the mountain. Okay. When you get down there and you get to a village which is on the edge of a swamp, well, you find out that there is what they call the Black Mountain. It's a singular mountain sitting in the middle of a swamp, a very dense, very heavy, very infested swamp. Okay? They don't like the travel there, but the villagers live on the edge of it and they survive, so they can tell you horrors and everything of the swamp. Okay?
They're just out there living on the bayou.
They also tell you that there has been other adventurers actually come out to seek this wisdom of these sages, and they have never returned. So, you decide as a party, this is something, or you have a reason to go out there because only the sages of the mountain can actually solve it. So, you traverse the swamp. Okay, this could take days to traverse, trying not to get lost. Basically, you can do almost, depending on your campaign, you can do like a hex travel for a session if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So you could do that, but then you actually get to the actual mountain and you kind of just come across it because the swamp is so dense, you don't actually see what is out there for directions and stuff. So it's very, very difficult. But once you get to the mountain, you see a winding staircase up the side of this dark, moss-ridden, covered, just swampy mountain. Swampy mountain. You know what I meant. And you wind up the staircase and then it opens up into a cavern. Okay? You walk into the cavern. The cavern is pitch black. You light your torch, your light source and everything like that.
I cast magic missile on the darkness.
Oh, God, I love those memes. And if you don't know that meme, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. Magic missile.
I'm gonna go get some Mountain Dew.
So basically, when you light your light source and everything like that, you light up into this room. You open up. It opens up into a cavern. Now, I could not decide if it's going to be more oval and circular or a square, like the inside of like a big Greek temple. Okay, it's going to be multi-leveled. Okay, so say there's 3 levels, and on all those 3 levels surrounding the ledge, okay, is stone statues of basically adventurers. Okay, now if you've seen the old 70s Clash of the Titans and the Medusas, where he gets the head of Medusa, and all the statues and everything of the warriors around turned to stone, that's what these statues are. Okay. Also, in the far end of the room, you see a big cauldron. Okay, in that cauldron, okay, it's kind of bubbling, kind of cooking. You see stuff that may actually still be alive, cooking in that. Okay, now what you hear in the distance on the other side of the cauldron, after you're looking through everything like here, you actually see basically this big giant eye kind of open up. It has a reddish hue to it, okay? And on that one right there, you also see another little eye, just a single eye, kind of open up with a reddish thing. Okay, nope, just a single eye. Okay? And she comes in here, state your business. Okay?
Okay.
So as adventurers, they're going to state their business or what their question and everything else like that here. Okay. So this is how the setup and everything goes in the story. Okay. Now let's get into the bones of what the encounter is. Now that single creature in the back behind the cauldron that opened the eye, okay, is a beholder, okay? An ancient beholder. I couldn't decide, depending on the character level, you can actually make him a beholder lich. Okay. But the other eye stalks and everything like that have either been destroyed, withered off, aged, whatever you want to, but she only has one eye stalk. Okay. Now, while you're talking, okay, to that, the players are talking to that single person, that single beholder there, all of a sudden you get dual voices opposite, flanking the party.
Oh, no.
Coming out of behind, like the stone people. Okay, and you get similar voices, okay, and then all of a sudden in the darkness you see two more eyes open up, okay, and on these big red eyes too, each one of those have two eyes that open up, okay. Those are also two beholders, okay, and they have two eyes each. The rest of the eyes are either withered, damaged, stuff like that, and they could be liches, just aged, or just elderly. Okay, or something like that. Just something that's not glowing. So you
basically have like a coven of...
Exactly. We have a coven of beholders. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. When you're talking and stuff like that, depending on how like that, if they want to actually talking, cackle, or however they want to banter, I was kind of having fun with this because they'll just talk about, yes, we are the Beholder 3. I mean, you got your coven. One of the beholders with the two eyes, his name is Indrar. Okay, Indrar. I have her name. The second one that is flanking you with the two eyes, Amanash. Its name and stuff like that. And the one with the single eye that's sitting behind the cauldron, okay, that's Jill. Don't laugh, because Jill rhymes with kill. Okay, and at that point, she shoots a beam from the small. The eye closes, and a beam shoots out from the small eye. Okay, and that eye is actually a death ray. Oh. Okay. So depending on how you want to actually do this. Okay. Now, Jill with the one eye has a death ray. Okay, and I even put notes in here that her name rhymes with kill.
Power word, Jill.
It could, so you can have fun with this encounter, or you can be serious with it. But depending if the players act like you just did right there, because that's the way I kind of set it up, you can have fun with it. Okay. Now, Endavar, okay, her two eyes are charm and disintegration.
Okay.
Okay, and Amanash, okay, her two eyes is telekinesis and petrification. Okay, so that explains the statues, moving them, putting them in place, everything like that. So that is the complete setup for the area and how everything works. Now, here's the thing. When you ask them the question and stuff they need, they require a boon. Okay, and in conversation with them, you actually find out that they love meat, storage, stew, and stuff like that. So they would want, for their information, something for the pot to be cooked in there. Okay. So besides getting the information, you got to go on the separate quest to give them what they want to fill the pot. Okay. Now, here's the thing. That's all it's asked. There's nothing else right there. There's no money. There's no transaction. There's nothing like that. And they will share their knowledge. Now, if you do not pay the boon, okay, the next set of adventurers that come in and ask a question, you become the boon for them.
Interesting.
So, that leads into a couple different things. Either you can have a creature that you have to hunt so they get to the pot, or you become the hunted by this other party that needed to ask a question that you become the boon. And that is how the other players get back to the lair, petrified, and put up as statues around the wall.
Interesting.
Okay. So, yeah. So that is kind of that setup and everything. So that in and of itself is a long encounter. You got your travel, you got your encounter with these things, you have your wisdom sages, and you have it enough that is similar that the players understand that this is a coven of 3 that are like sharing a single eye, but they have their beholder eyes that they don't share, and they still understand what's going on, and it's still different enough for all the players to actually go, what the hell am I actually into right now?
Yep. That's cool.
So, yay. So that's how I would set that up.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I thought that was very interesting, and depending on what you want to do for comedic aspect, depending on your campaign, it could be rather serious, it could be comedic. I'm this name, I'm Jill. And go and everything from there. So, and like I said, with the beholders, you can have more eyes if you want to. I was kind of very specific on what I wanted this to do. Can they be liches?
Beholder eye. You can have one beholder eye that they share amongst each other, and they just plop it in their slots.
I thought about that, where the eye stalks like grab like the eye they have to look out from each other and have them all together, but I kind of thought from just like an aspect being flanked,
like from Hercules.
Yeah, exactly. But from being flanked, kind of doing enough like that. And then besides, behind the statues is a bunch of holes that are just big enough for them that goes all the way around, and it comes out at different points, so it's a big maze behind them. Okay, so if something does happen, it can be expanded out to where you go through that maze. They might have a layer or something in the back or whatever, because by the time you get through the swamp and you're going up the stairwell, they already know you're there. So that's why they're set up and everything in place.
Yeah, they have to set up the dramatic reveals.
Exactly. So I think from, if you can play
like
that,
Darth Vader in Rogue One.
But you can actually set that up to be more of a dark and really menacing, or it can be kind of comedic, but they still have the power to wreck you if you wanted to. So absolutely. So that was kind of how I had that set up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So cool.
That could, that's, I like that it'll make things like branch out and just get crazy real quick. Yeah.
And I like doing things that are different. I don't like doing the standard things and different encounters, because sometimes as a group they expect something standard, so you want to give them something standard. Other times you want to
mess with their
expectations, where they don't know what's happening. They have an idea, they understand it enough, they can follow along, but then it's something that they enjoy and still interesting. So, and I kind of like doing that. So, okay,
absolutely.
So that's what I got right there.
Awesome.
All right. So, what did you think?
I like this. I think if we did this more often, I think that this would be...
Well, why don't we ask people to give feedback on this particular episode if you liked what we did here, different ideas and everything like that. These can actually be expanded, written up, put into like PDFs and stuff like that, and put, I don't know, out there to be shared or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing down ideas. So, but I would say to anybody listening to this, get a hold of us through a lot of our different social medias, things like that. Leave us a message, ask us a question, tell us your thoughts on this. If you want us to do this more often,
absolutely,
we could do this, because I actually enjoy this, because it's something completely different. It really gets your ideas flowing. You're designing how do that. And then also, too, the nice thing is you actually get to hear what our thought process is in the game and everything design. So now I do listen to another podcaster, and he goes by the name of Sly Flourish. Okay, and he has a section where he is designing his game encounters for his table. Okay. And he records all that, and I'm listening to that, and I find that extremely interesting because I'm hearing his thought process on how he's designing games, what his thought process, what his players might do, how he's trying to come up with different rumors, different things for them, for the breadcrumbs to get them everything they want to go. So if that's something
usually you see the end product, you don't see
right.
the working on getting there.
Right. So yeah, let's say if you like something like this, let us know. We can expand on this and go from there. So cool.
Absolutely.
All right. So yay, that was actually quite fun.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, that was great. I think this was a lot better. I mean, I didn't say this up top, but like encounter design and everything, that's like my weakest part of being a DM. That's like my weak link of this.
Okay. Well, I mean, the whole thing is practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
So you do this, so you try to have fun with it and everything like that too. Mm-hmm. And I know I've gamed with you when you were younger a little bit, but really seeing how my kind of mind works and stuff like that kind of helps you too. And things too. So, but yeah. My favorite thing is designing encounters. I love designing encounters and situations for the players. So that is what I absolutely enjoy.
There we go. See, it's cool. Just the differences in how we do things,
Oh.
Well, I'm Waldorf. That's Statler. And this has been Nerd and Son Podcast.
All right. So yeah, before we do that, do you have anything that you want to pimp or talk about or anything like that at all? So.
Just follow
not
me.
You being a pimp, but anything you want to pimp.
I'm Supersonic Sauropod on Threads.
Mm-hmm. I've seen your threads.
And
those are interesting.
Yep.
So cool. All right. Well, also too, I am Ralph. I also have another channel which is called 13 Peppers on YouTube, where I love super hot peppers, sauces, eating, tasting, growing, the whole works. So if you like seeing somebody burn their mouth eating it and dying in the process.
You can watch both of us die.
Yes, because my son actually decided to eat some hot sauces and everything with me, and then once we get together, whenever in the next couple of years, we're going to eat some more. Be good. Woohoo! So, but with that, you can actually get a hold of us at NerdandSon.
On
gmail.com, all the different social medias out there. At the end of this podcast, in the description and the show notes, we'll go ahead and we'll list all that out for you, so you can get a hold of us. Tell us what you think. We want to hear your thoughts. We love hearing it. If you got questions that we can answer for you, just let us know. But I think that is about it. So once again, I am Nerd. I am Ralph.
I am Son. I am Connor.
And you have yourself a very, very good day.
Bye.
Bye.